Welcome to another episode of Daniel's Dai Kaiju Theater, the show where we watch kaiju movies and say whether they're good or not. We beat up these kaiju movies, we battle them, we're still trying to find the catchphrase. So far, we're working through the Godzilla films, and this week we watched the, at one point, final Godzilla film, Godzilla Final Wars, and also the last one where somebody wore a suit, I think. And who do we have with me today? I am, of course, Daniel Fernandez, your intrepid host. He, him, your king of the podcast monsters.
That seems appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah.
I am Damien, regular around here. He, they.
I'm Nathan, noted kaiju expert and kind of a dork. He, him.
I'm Russell. I am a dumb shit, and I am a huge dork. He, they.
So let's talk about this one. This one is, there's so much going on in this one. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's just get into it. Godzilla Final Wars, the 28th mainline Godzilla movie, 29th film overall, final film of the Millennium series. And the last time one of these Godzilla movies has a guy in a suit, premiered in 2004, and was a gigantic financial failure for the studio. But I think it was a good time. Let's get into it. So, Russell, you said you were taking notes. Do you want to walk us through the plot? Do you want me to go through the plot this week? What do we want to do?
Well, I figured first we could say how we watched. I noted that I watched it with dubs, which just seems appropriate for a Godzilla movie.
Oh, yes. I watched both, actually.
Nice.
The Japanese version is kind of hard to find on the internet, but you could find it around.
I watched the dub version because I was feeling lazy and didn't feel like reading.
I watched the subbed version, though I have seen both, on an old DVD I got of this film
Wow.
a long time ago.
Oh, man, physical
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was weirdly nostalgic to rewatch the opening trailers, because they always stuck in my memory, because they were for Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. And
Oh, God.
I remember that one.
and I think it was called Steam Boy. It was made by the guy who did Akira.
I'm going to have to look that up.
Apparently it's mid, from what I've heard from other people, but the trailer blew my mind as a kid.
I actually did the best of both worlds. I watched it with the dubs and had the subtitles on.
That sounds confusing.
They don't match up as much as you might expect.
I didn't. They don't.
A real elfin lead situation there.
Honestly, I love doing that with any, Final, as mentioned before, it was mentioned before, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. That's actually how I generally watch that, because, just seeing the difference in the dialogue between the two, it's actually kind of cool. Like, seeing the changes that are made and hearing the changes, obviously, as well.
So this movie was directed by the Japanese filmmaker Ryuhei Kitamura, who is actually most well known before this for a wild movie called Versus, which is like samurais versus zombies. It's wildly violent. Though I knew him better as the guy who directed the cutscenes for the remake of Metal Gear Solid on the GameCube, Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes, which has a very similar energy with its fights. And you could definitely see it.
He also cameoed in his own movie as the radio DJ in that one scene.
Yeah, I was going to mention it, but yes, he is the radio DJ. All right.
Oh my god, he did the live-action Lupin the Third film? That's not important right now.
Okay. I've not seen that one.
It's bad.
All right.
I've seen it. It's bad.
So our movie starts like any good Godzilla movie starts. I don't know if they all start like this. But with Godzilla, he's just right there. Just Godzilla-ing around, looking right at the camera. I will say, I kind of dig this suit. This is a new suit for this movie. His ears are bigger. Does he kind of look like a cat? I feel like he kind of looks like a cat.
There's an
Yeah.
argument to be made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
I really love the shot of Godzilla falling into the ice. It looked like very much like a person in a suit falling down 2 feet.
Yes. That's the beauty of these movies. Yes, our movie starts with Godzilla battling humanity once again. And is it the Gotengo right at the beginning?
It
the
is,
Gotengo?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't know, when I first saw that, I'm like, really? A flying submarine with a drill on the front of it? This is my type of movie right here.
Yes. Well, should note the Gotengo is originally from another movie, a 1963 movie called Atragon. Not a Godzilla movie, but the submarine fights a giant monster. It does not fly in that one, I don't believe. That one is just an underwater submarine. But you know what's better than being an underwater submarine? A flying
Sky
submarine.
submarine.
Yes.
Which literally the word submarine is submarine. So like if it doesn't, sorry,
Oh, it's also a supramarine.
submarine.
But yeah, we see Godzilla fighting the Gotengo, the submarine that we just mentioned. When all hope seems lost, there's just like a big earthquake. And they're able to trap Godzilla in the ice, and he just falls down. I mean, I think we're supposed to assume it's a bottomless pit, but like you were saying, it kind of looks like he just falls down a couple feet.
I mean, it must have just been a couple feet, right? Because they had that complex built later on in the movie. That goes up and Godzilla's out.
Yeah, he gets out pretty quick, so I guess he didn't
Yeah.
fall down too far.
6 feet or so.
Yeah, they always try to trap Godzilla and it never works. This is like at the end of the first of the Heisei movies where he gets trapped in the volcano and then just gets out later on.
I mean, to be fair, in this film, it actually worked for quite a long time and would have kept working if, well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, because it cuts to everyone's favorite year, the year 20XDX.
That was a
the
good
future.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, actually, do the credits happen first? The credits happen first, right? Because I
Yeah.
actually wanted to mention
Sorta.
these opening titles rule. I really
they were
like these
pretty
opening
great.
titles.
Ew.
There's a little montage of all the Godzilla movies that have come before.
Yeah. And oh goodness, I looked up the guy. I've forgotten the name of the guy who did them, but he's actually the guy. They brought him back to do the titles to the first two of the more recent American Godzilla movies.
Oh, neat.
And
Yeah.
if I'm understanding this right, he did the trailer for Suicide Squad, the original one, right?
Did he?
No.
Holy shit.
No, no, you're just fucking with me.
That was a good trailer, though. Remember?
It was a good trailer. It was a good
Yeah.
trailer.
It was a trailer so good it arguably killed the movie it was for. We don't have time to
Yeah.
get into
No, I
that
think the
either.
movie did that.
Well, they re-edited the movie to make it more like the trailer. It's a true thing that happened.
Godzilla.
Anyway,
Godzilla, yes.
yeah.
So after the awesome opening credits, we are introduced to the M
Submarine
organization.
Stalin. Submarine Stalin. That man is Stalin, right?
Well, they have to tell us about the EDF first, right?
Yeah,
Ah, right.
about about mutants with like superpowers who fight kaiju.
I do want to comment. Generally, I've kind of liked the music in this movie, but goddamn, the music that plays during the this is what's happening in the future. There's an Earth Defense Force and they're mutants. It sounds terrible. It sounds like a documentary, like a bad documentary. Do 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 do. It does not feel very Godzilla-y at all.
No, you were right. It does not.
Yeah. And then they play it over the credits, too. But yes, then we get, as you recall, they say Submarine Stalin. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Not actually just Submarine Stalin. He is one of our leads in the movie, Don Fry.
Captain Gordon.
Oh, yeah, Gordon, I guess, is technically his name.
Yes, that is the character's name as played by actual professional wrestler Don Fry,
Oh.
a man who can't act and in the exact right way for this film.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even I thought he was a wrestler. I just didn't recognize him at the time. But yeah, it was great.
Sergeant
Yeah, he
Slaughter?
actually was
Yes.
originally an MMA fighter.
I didn't even make that connection until you said he was a former wrestler, and I don't even know if I've seen wrestling where Sergeant Slaughter was a dude.
I
He was
have.
round.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I'm old enough to have.
yeah. He is.
Oh shit, he's also a boxer.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he's done a whole bunch of stuff. Kitamura loved him. Kitamura, the director, and wrote the part just for him, and really wanted him to do it. And Don Fry, he's got a distinctive voice, and he's not a great actor. In a way, that makes him an incredible actor for this. It's really quite the watch to see him try to say out these lines.
And since I was watching the dub, I noticed that he was not speaking Japanese for all of his lines either. Sometimes he was just using his voice in the final cut
Yeah.
in English.
I will confirm that every line he says in the subtitled original Japanese version is in English, and he was dubbed in Japanese for the Japanese release.
Wow.
Yep.
Getting it both ways.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, anyway, he is commanding the Gotengo in the future, and is fighting against our first kaiju that gets taken down in this movie. Well, I guess Godzilla kind of gets taken down, but he gets better. Which is a weird dragon thing called Manda. Manda?
Onda.
We'll go with Manda.
Yeah.
We just said two different things, didn't we?
Yeah. I guess we could go with both. This
Very
is
decisive.
actually, well, this movie, at least the dub, is not consistent with some of its naming either. But this is actually the first of our sort of cameos, if you will. This is a kaiju from the movie that the Gotengo was originally from, Atragon. And this dragon, though, doesn't last very long. He gets blasted by the ice weapon that's on the Gotengo.
The Mazer.
The Mazer, yes.
The
of course.
Mazer.
The Mazer.
Ridiculous name.
The Mazer. Which is interesting because there were Mazer tanks in some of those early movies, the ones that look like satellite dish tanks. I don't think those froze. I thought those were just like laser guns.
Yeah, those were just lightning guns.
Yeah.
This thing, maybe it's a nod to the Absolute Zero cannon from Godzilla against Mechagodzilla.
Could be.
That's my
Yeah.
best guess, but
Yeah.
Like now, and like all of the ships that they have, because they have a few in this movie.
Yeah.
They all seem to be equipped with one.
Yeah. Yeah, they all got freeze guns. I guess that's the main way that people take out monsters in the future. They blast them with Mazers, I guess.
I mean, it did work.
Yeah, I mean, it did work. But he's too reckless. He's taking too many risks. And his boss gets him on the phone. After he's killed the monster they sent him to get rid of. And they're like, what are you doing? You're being too reckless. Immediately after he killed the monster, which seems a little much. He got the monster. God. Nobody died.
If you're paying attention, okay, first of all, he slams the ship into like a 180. His staff is getting flung against the other side of the ship. Then he's talking to a superior officer, and he's like, you shut your mouth. And then he's in prison. He's got a full set of gym equipment, because I guess everybody's too afraid of him. This guy's arc is weird. It's real weird.
They mentioned that he struck a superior officer during his court-martial hearing, which is why he's actually in jail for a bit.
Did he hit the woman he was talking to?
You have to assume.
Yes. Who is the leader of the Earth Defense Force and is being played... That's Kimi Mizuno, right?
Yeah,
I don't know
sure.
I take it back. I don't know why I asked the question. That is Kimi Mizuno. Playing Namakawa, who is the leader of the Earth Defense Force. I just think of her as like the Earth Defense Force lady. But Kimi Mizuno was in a whole bunch of old Godzilla movies. She was in Invasion of Astro Monster. She was in Ebra Horror of the Deep. She was in a bunch of other Toho movies, Frankenstein versus Baragon and stuff like that. But she's very famous. We've seen her twice already on the show. She's great. I mean, she's no longer the crazy sex pot like character. She's the older lady, but it's fun to see her.
Instead, she's Submarine Stalin's punching bag.
Yeah, apparently Dawn Fry punched her. But enough about Dawn Fry. Now it's time to meet our actual main character.
Oh, yeah, exactly what I come to a Godzilla movie for. Badly CGI'd martial arts.
I was under the way I looked at it, it looked more like essentially wire fu to me. With the way that was done.
Yeah, I think it's wire fu, but it
was a bit of both.
Yeah, I think there is a little bit of
some
both.
CGI in places, but for the most part, it was some genuinely cool stunts.
Yeah, but every once in a while they're like, "Oh, they're going super fast," and they use like CGI to
yeah,
and it looks absolutely ridiculous.
It looks kind of hokey.
You guys remember ridiculous. When everybody thought wire moves looked cool? That was a weird time.
I still think they look cool, but they are. There was a time when they were definitely getting overused, and it includes this movie
was made after The Matrix.
Yes. This is our main character, the guy who's the hero.
What's his name?
His name is Ozaki.
Oh.
Yeah, yes, his name is Ozaki, but honestly, it's kind of hard to remember. As always, it's kind of hard to remember the names of the characters in a Godzilla movie.
It is a Godzilla movie. You are taking second billing at best.
Well, arguably not in this one, because the humans get a lot to do.
Yeah.
But Ozaki is fighting with his rival, and they're both mutants, so they're using their crazy mutant powers to get into a Matrix fight.
Their crazy mutant powers of moving a little faster than usual.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, they're doing wall runs and shit. It's,
Yeah, can you wall run?
Maybe.
I didn't think so. Oh, okay.
I haven't tried recently.
I've never tried, so...
It's been a few years since I tried.
Well, he's fighting another mutant named Kazama, and after the fight, Kazama is like, you didn't fight hard enough. You're not fighting to kill in the battlefield. You have to fight to kill.
And Ozaki's like,
bro,
no, you beat me legitimately.
Yeah.
Which, that's what you want your hero to say. No, you're better than me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you beat me. Sorry, you beat me.
And it's like, why didn't you kill me in this sparring match, brother?
And their boss comes in and says, remember, the point of this fight is not to win. It's to get better. But it's like, isn't the point of the fight to win? Doesn't that help you get better? It seems like the point of the fight should be to win. I don't know.
Training to be stronger, not to beat your opponent, which sort of explains the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I suppose so. So, we meet him, and he's like, they're training, but everything seems to be sort of peaceful. And he is given a job to protect girl number 1, who is a
biologist.
A biologist. I was going to say, what kind of scientist is she?
Well, we beat you to it.
Yes. She is technically Miyuki. Miyuki is the biologist. And of course, we get the thing where he's like, oh, you want me to watch a biologist? I bet he's going to be like all old and ugly. And then she shows up and she's really hot, of course. And then he's still shitty about it. He's like, oh, you look like a model, which means like you're not a good scientist. And it's like,
you a model?
Yeah.
Gross.
You gotta chill, dude.
Anyway, she's the main love interest, I think.
Yes, she is the main love interest.
I thought the main love interest was Manila.
That's a different couple. That's the little boy in Manila.
Oh, I hate that. Oh boy.
It's not a romantic love. It's a friendship love.
It's the only noticeable affection in the movie.
That's true. Unfortunately.
Yes. Is it unfortunate? Do we really need the love story? The love stories.
Let's be real. Like, the real love story that was right there that they didn't go for was the obvious shonen rivalry between Ozaki and Kazuma.
Yeah.
It was right there, y'all. That
Yeah,
was
There's so
it was
many
a
things
little
that they
bit gay.
started and didn't go for.
Yeah. Well, this movie, it doesn't have time to develop any idea because it has to rush to another idea. Which is that we are now checking out a monster that they found off the coast of Hokkaido that seems to be long dead. It's mummified, and it's 12,000 years old, and they're looking at it, and we recognize it, of course, to be Gigan.
Robot chicken.
Yes, Gigan is a robot chicken. That's not incorrect to describe him as. And then they say that it's a cyborg, and it has technology, but because it's 12,000 years old, it can't be any Earth technology, so it must have come from space.
Oh, and it has the same, like, what is it, M gene or whatever?
M-base.
M-base, there we go. The same M-base as the mutants that have been popping up.
Which
I
apparently
love
is
that.
a fifth DNA base, and that is not how that works.
No, it is not.
No.
It needs a pair because those work in pairs.
That is
Not this
how that
one.
works at all.
Not this one, though.
Adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine, they're all paired up, and M-base is over here like, hello, I'm here too.
That's why it's so powerful. It doesn't need
guess so.
another one. It is interesting. So the implication is that, like, these guys are the descendants of these mutants are the descendants of this. They talk about it a little bit more. I'm curious why the mutants just started appearing now when this happened like 12,000 years ago.
Yeah,
felt like it.
that was kind of a spot where they could have done that better. They could have at least established, oh yeah, they've been maybe appearing occasionally, and now they're like, there's more of them, or some shit like that.
Now,
like,
to be fair, from what I was reading, there is a ton of deleted footage for this film. In fact, there's like some full-on like monster scenes, it looks like, that they show over the credits of like deleted scenes. So maybe
wow.
there was a cool line in there or something that explained it more. But
probably.
But they cut this movie to the bone, apparently, despite it also being pretty long.
It's only just over 2 hours.
Back in 2004, 2 hours was not a long movie.
It felt long for a Godzilla movie.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, aren't most Godzilla movies, like, don't they didn't, at least for the time, generally top out at about the 90-minute mark?
Yeah, prior to 2004, Godzilla movies were on the shorter side for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah,
Fair enough.
now like all the big blockbusters are too long, which includes the Godzilla movies. Okay, so they're like, "Oh, it's a alien. He's got the DNA or whatever." But our hero is like, "That doesn't make any sense. That's stupid. That doesn't even work."
And then they're teleported to a magic island with fairies.
Well, they're looking at
the
a
Mothra
book,
twins.
right? Yes,
Yep.
but the Mothra twins, the Shobijin, show up because they're looking at a book, and then the book comes alive and starts talking to them.
And it's the
Which
show.
is a
As
little
books
weird.
do.
Yeah,
And
as
they-
books do.
And they give Ozaki an emblem so that he will be able to choose his own destiny.
Which I'm pretty sure does not appear for the rest of the movie.
Oh, it does.
It does.
It makes an appearance.
Yeah.
Yes. And should note that these are the two actresses that played the Mothra twins, the Shobijin, in the last movie, Tokyo SOS. They just brought them back. Though if you
That
look
was
at,
a good one.
Yeah.
though if you, I actually quite like that one. But if you look at the picture in the book beforehand, it's actually a picture of the old Mothra twins that were played by the Peanuts back in the Showa era. The not Charlie Brown and stuff, but the musical act, the Peanuts.
There are so many references to the Showa era, especially in this film.
Yes. Yeah, we're probably not going to catch all of them. And in fact, this podcast would be too long if we got all of them. But I'm going to mention the ones that I can think of when they pop up.
I feel like
like
there were a
this.
lot of cameos that went over my head as well.
Yeah, pretty much anybody who isn't a young person in this movie is an old Godzilla actor.
Yep. But we can't mention all of the cameos because we're barely started the plot summary, and we've been recording for half an hour.
Okay, let's pick it up.
Speaking of half an hour and barely end, I realized I had a page of notes at half an hour.
Yep.
Then I guess the monsters attack, right? Is this when it happens? The monsters just start attacking the world?
Yeah, and we get a very
yeah.
sensitive depiction of urban life.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Yes.
The New York scene. Oh, man, I forget every time.
Everybody was definitely speaking English, and there was still ADR going on.
Yep.
Apparently that's because one of the actors kept swearing and wouldn't actually do the lines.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, man.
Not a lip reader, but it definitely looked like he was cursing there.
Yeah. We see New York with two guys getting harassed by a police officer, with everything being the most stereotypical thing ever. Also, apparently New York has not changed at all in the how many years it's been, because we're in the deep future. It just looks like New York from, honestly, the 90s, and this movie was shot in 2005.
It looks like New York from an 80s movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does.
But then Rodan
so-
comes in and wrecks the whole thing, so...
Yeah. Rodan,
Yeah, it's
Gonna
probably
have to
for the
build
best.
that back.
Rodan looking pretty good. I like this Rodan. I think it looks pretty good.
Honestly, this is my favorite Rodan design.
Yeah, it's a good design, and the CGI doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
Some of the CGI in this movie doesn't look good, but the CGI in Rodan looks pretty good here. I should note, the thing that I love the most is the weird cartoon sound that they put in as the guy falls over.
Yeah.
It's like something out of fucking Looney Tunes. I don't understand
It
why
plays
it's
when
here.
Rodan knocks their hats off their heads with the wind.
Yes.
Just a whoo like sound. It's
And then incinerates their bodies.
Yes. They need to do it more. I wanted more cartoon sounds.
Yeah,
Don't
they should.
tease me with it.
They should have just went with the bit throughout the whole movie. Like, if you're gonna do it, commit.
Yeah. But anyway, we see monsters attacking all over the world. So Rodan attacks New York City. Zilla, who is the Godzilla from the American TriStar movie, is attacking Sydney, Australia.
Oh, yeah, and it's all CG. It looks so goofy. Like, give me that foam rubber flopping all over the place for the win.
Yes, it really doesn't look good.
that whole thing is like a giant stab to that movie, and it's petty and spiteful, and I really appreciate it on some level.
Apparently, the model they used, they just got one of the toys. They just got a toy and they scanned it in.
Yeah, that
Nice.
makes sense.
I love that they went to Vancouver and basically nothing at all is happening there. Somebody is watching a TV, and that's our vignette of Vancouver.
Yeah, we see a couple shots of people watching the attacks going on around the world. Anguirus, Godzilla's first enemy, is attacking Shanghai, though in the dub they call him Anguinus. Did you guys catch that? I don't understand why they called him that.
Somebody misread the script pretty hard.
Yes. King Caesar is in Okinawa. Kamankarus, the praying mantis guy, is attacking Paris. And then all of them are attacking big urban centers, except for Kamanga, who just like steps on one trailer in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
I will say, so many of these kaiju just never showed up again after their first appearance in the Showa era. And it was nice to see some old faces. Like King Caesar coming back. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
And,
Heisei era kaiju, though.
No Heisei or kaiju. Yeah.
Makes sense considering the director was going for a pre-Heisei feel, but like the Heisei kaiju are great, so his loss.
Any excuse to see another Biolante would be cool.
Absolutely.
Because we just never enough Biolante. We talked about this when we talked about that movie. It's a great design. Barely fights Godzilla in those movies. It needs to be longer. But the real thing that we see a lot of is Ebirah is attacking some sort of industry factory thing in Japan.
Wikipedia
It's some sort of,
says Tokai
Yeah, I was
Okay.
just looking at that
Village
myself.
in
Okay.
the Ibaraki prefecture.
Ah, the Ibaraki prefecture, because it's
It's spelled differently. It's with
okay.
an I, not an E.
And we get a scene that's pretty wild that I would never thought I would see in a Godzilla movie. It's a bunch of guys on foot fighting a kaiju and winning. And they must have spent about half of their budget on all of the explosions in this scene.
Oh, that's when the lobster breaks their warhammer, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll
they got the X-Men in there to fire rocket launchers. That was great.
Yeah, it rules. It's not like nothing we've ever seen in a Godzilla movie before, for better and worse. It's just totally wild.
I would love to see more of that concept of people just fighting kaiju on foot and winning. Because that was so stupid and so cool. And just the inner child within me was just having a field day of it.
And then at the end, he says, "Sorry, I'm a vegetarian." And then blows him up.
That's a good point. There's some weird stuff in this movie, but foot soldiers versus kaiju is a pretty neat idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we would get some of that in the first. I know we haven't gone to it yet, but the first of the MonsterVerse Godzillas, where they have all the soldiers running around in San Francisco, but they don't fight Godzilla at all in that.
Or the Mutos, yeah.
They don't fight. Yeah.
Though, while we're on the subject of the "sorry, I'm a vegetarian" guy, that actor Kane Kusogi, he is a mixed Japanese-American actor, I believe.
Okay.
And is notable for being the only actor ever to be the host of an Ultraman, a Sentai Ranger, a Kamen Rider, and has squared up with kaiju in a Godzilla film.
And
only guy who's ever done that.
And
he's a vegetarian.
Yeah, he has the kaiju, the Japanese tokusatsu equivalent of the Triple Crown.
Wait, what's the Triple Crown?
That's like a horse racing thing. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, the Japanese version is much more interesting, I gotta say.
Yes, exactly.
I agree.
So then the head of the UN dies, right? We didn't mention this guy, but he came up, right?
The head of the
I mean,
UN
the movie
is...
barely mentioned it.
This is true as well. But
He was in a plane,
Well-
Rodan exploded him. It's fine.
So, like, the movie does kind of establish something about him because, like, didn't they go off and say, like, he's the first Japanese head of the UN or something like that? And he's like, oh, hey, yeah, well, I'm gonna go do this. And then they had, like, I think 1 or 2 establishing shots of him, and then, yeah, he's on the plane, and the plane gets destroyed.
yeah, he dies. Except he doesn't. Spoiler alert.
He got bad.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to it. Somehow he survived. It's a real Palpatine situation. But,
And in most
yeah.
situations, the answer is aliens. By the way, aliens show up and abduct all of the kaiju, for lack of a better term, before any of them can be killed.
Yes, they grab, the aliens show up and grab all of the kaiju. And we have seen a bunch of Godzilla movies, so we know that when aliens show up, they're obviously going to be our friends and there will be no problems to come of it.
I've got a note here.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being one of those assholes on top of a building holding a riot shield at a spaceship?
That's a real what the fuck am I doing with my life kind of moment right there.
This is way above my pay grade.
Also, their mothership looks like the Epcot Center.
No. I was going to say, this stuff all feels very Independence Day, especially when it launches at ships later. But I think about Independence Day a lot when we're seeing these guys. Yet more movies this is drawing from. This whole thing has a very Hollywood feel to it, which I think is probably deliberate. Even if it maybe isn't successful. Anyway, the aliens come out, and they introduce themselves as the Exilians. So, just literally the same name of the bad guy monsters, or the bad guy aliens from the Showa era. From
Which I thought was
Invasion
cool.
of Astro Monster. Yeah. And instead of having their weird, like, black eye masks, they all wear sunglasses now, because it's the 2000s, and sunglasses are cool.
Or at least one guy
definitely.
does.
Yeah, I guess mostly the one guy does. And then they come up with this weird lie that never really goes anywhere. they say there's an asteroid that's named Gorath, which is named after another Toho movie. There's an asteroid named Gorath that's going to hit Earth. So they came here to warn Earth that Earth needs to shoot its lasers at the asteroid so the Earth isn't destroyed.
I've got an idea about that.
Okay.
Because there's the one guy who's clearly leading them at the start, and that doesn't pan out so well for him in the long term. But it seems like he wants things to have a peaceful resolution.
Yes.
Maybe he's just trying to get Earth to expend all of its munitions, so they have to surrender.
Yeah, that was my thought.
Yeah, we don't really know because the plan doesn't really play out or anything. But the people on Earth are fucking psyched about aliens. People are so excited. We see there's just alien mania sweeping the globe. Everyone's loving it. There's a talk show scene where that goes on for an extremely long amount of time.
There's a couple
2
weird
minutes,
scenes in
but,
there.
Like, it feels a lot longer than 2 minutes.
Where like one guy's saying like, well, there's no proof that they're aliens. And the other guys are like, no, but they're clearly aliens. And then he's like, well, in the past you said there weren't aliens. And it's like, why are we having this conversation?
They really cut this movie to the bone.
Yeah, we could have had fucking shots of the smog monster, and instead we got this.
We got scenes of Hedorah, one of the just most obscure and wonderful kaiju out there. Cut for this scene. I am upset about that. I didn't think about it. Now I'm upset about that.
Yeah. I know the girl that's talking in this scene is the girl that got killed in GMK in the hospital. The one with the very sad scene where Godzilla kills that girl.
Oh, yeah.
Can't get away. Yeah. But that doesn't matter. Just because that's some dumb cameo doesn't mean that we shouldn't get... whatever.
Maybe it was in her contract.
Maybe it was in her contract. Anyway, our gang is like, ooh, this doesn't seem right. Something bad's going on here. In fact, somebody tries to. I guess we didn't mention the Secretary General. Turns out is alive. Didn't get killed by Rodan. And in fact, was saved by the Zillions and is saying, now we got to work with the Zillions. We're going to be friends. We're not going to have a United Nations anymore. We're going to have a Space Nations.
Space Nations!
Yes.
And the entire UN starts clapping.
Yeah, everyone's super excited about the Space Nations.
Fucking...
Because, yeah, that's
What's
exactly
that
how
one
that
line
would go.
from Star Wars?
Hey, just top of the dome. Just top of the dome. Let's go around. Anybody have a better name off the top of their head?
The United Federation of Planets.
Yeah.
United Space?
Yeah.
Literally anything would be better than Space Nations.
Like, united is sort of an important word in there. Maybe we're at Space Nations and we're all at war.
Yeah,
what message are we sending here?
Yeah.
Well, then we're looking at Iron Sky. That's a completely different movie.
This is true. And I think, Nathan, you were saying the Star Wars thing?
Yeah. Oh, how's that one line go? This is how democracy ends, with cheers and applause, something like that.
Yeah. Thunderous
Along
applause,
those
I
lines.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
the
probably.
moment the Space Nations are announced, the entire UN gives a standing ovation.
Everyone's
For
excited
some
about it.
reason.
I guess there's one guy who isn't excited about it because some rando tries to assassinate the Secretary General and say, like, he's a traitor, he's going to kill all of us. And I
And
think
it's
this
weird
guy
that he
is
got
crazy.
that far into the assassination. He actually stabbed the guy. Like, were there no security?
It's okay. It was no big deal, though, despite the amount he bled on that handkerchief.
Yeah.
Now,
Which revealed that he was not. He was in fact an alien in disguise. Whoops.
yeah, I was about to say, wasn't there something else that happened, like, shortly before that like, kind of tipped them off? 'Cause I
Right.
thought it was the scene before. Like, I thought, like, the scene before that where it came out that, like, they were having a conversation and something came out that the Zillions don't blink or something like that.
Oh, yeah. That's actually, I think that's before that scene. But yeah.
Yeah.
We watched
and
this
then-
video for 3 seconds. He did not blink. Must be an alien.
And this is this is when we meet girl number 2 in the movie.
Oh, right.
Miyuki's
Anna.
sister Anna, yeah.
Yeah, Miyuki's sister Anna. Because for some reason, we had to have 2 of these characters. It seems like you could combine them into one. I don't know. But yeah.
But
and
Anna
she's,
is a reporter.
No,
Yes.
Anna is a reporter, yes. And Anna had, like, interviewed the Secretary General before and is going to catch him in a lie or whatever. But let's not get bogged down in the details. They figure out, oh no, the leader of the UN is actually an alien. He's been replaced by an alien.
Ozaki goes off to tell his boss, only to, like, realize that his boss isn't blinking, so he's like, ah, shit, and has to kind of just awkwardly be like, we should increase security. I'm not tipping my hand that you're an alien, and has to awkwardly leave the room as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
Now, I
aliens
was
are
watching that scene. Ozaki didn't blink either. Does that mean he was an alien the entire time as well?
Oh, he's
I
a
mean, to
mutant.
be fair, M-base,
yeah, it's-
so maybe they have, the implication is their alien ancestry.
He is like half
Yeah.
alien, right? Or at least
And base
part
hanging
alien.
out over there all on its own, looking at the rest of the DNA,
Yeah.
and making him not blink.
Woo!
All right. When does Manila show up? I guess has Manila showed up yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got this in my notes. It's
It's when the monsters are
chronological order of
attacking,
thirds.
actually, right?
Yes, right after Vancouver, I have written fucking baby Godzilla looking fuck.
Yeah, I guess we should mention this. I just remembered this right now. We keep forgetting some stuff. This movie, we're trying to get through it.
There's so much in this film.
There's so much going on. Guess who's here? It's everybody's favorite fucking character, Manila.
Baby Godzilla looking fuck.
Godzilla's son. Yep.
Adopted son, according to the wiki. It's like, what? There's no genetic link there? What's going on?
Well, yeah, because remember in maybe you weren't with us for that episode when we first meet Manila, and it's definitely Godzilla does not give birth or anything. It's just a
He
guy
just
who
finds
just
an egg and decides this is my child now.
yeah.
Isn't that how that works? Like that's how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, that's how it worked for my son. We found an egg and we're like, yeah, we can look after this thing.
All right, you could definitely tell we're going for a goofy '70s Godzilla movie because fucking Manila is here.
Yeah, and there's a running subplot throughout the film about Manila and the hunter and his grandson who found Manila just going on a road trip throughout the country and commenting on events.
Now,
Possibly the best maintained subthread in the movie.
Actually,
Wasn't-
is, though.
wasn't that also a callback to another Godzilla movie? Like the old hunter and the little kid.
Um,
I
Could have
can't
swore
say
I'd seen that in one of the older ones.
I can't say for certain off the top of my head, but that whole subplot very much felt like a Showa era, when the Godzilla movies were kids' movies thing. Just like that. I feel like that was intentional. As a result, it comes off weirdly saccharine in a film that is otherwise quite violent. But, you know, they're just covering their bases with Godzilla.
Oh,
And I
exactly.
respect it.
yeah, it feels like something that dropped out of like Godzilla's Revenge, the one that it's all a dream of a child.
Oh, God, don't remind me.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna forget that one. I know. We're not going to have that argument again about that movie, because I actually kind
No,
of like
we are
it.
not.
Okay, so...
You bring up a good point. This is like, half actual movie and half clip show.
You're not wrong.
Anyway, let's speed it up. Let's speed it up. They
Yeah,
expose the UN secretary... Oh, no. First, before they expose him, they know there's one person who isn't an alien. One person they could trust.
He's been working out in a prison cell for striking a superior officer.
Probably a woman.
You know, maybe she had already been turned into an alien at that time. Maybe it was okay.
One small comment on that scene. I know we shouldn't get stuck in details, but this one I just have to point out. It is abundantly clear that Captain Gordon thought that Ozaki had busted him out of jail for a foursome with the two female leads of the film. Because he just looks at Ozaki and goes like, nice. And I'm like,
It's so
What? Why
silly.
would-
Oh, not only is it not a foursome, my dude, I am very much not in good graces with either of these women. They have no interest whatsoever.
Yes, this movie is very sexless.
Yeah.
Sexless, good word.
Yes. Anyway, they expose the leader of the UN as secretly an alien. They pull a trick where they're like, here's this dog, call your dog over to you. And then it's not even really his dog. And then I keep calling him Don Fry, but Gordon, is it Gordon who shoots the UN Secretary General?
Yes.
Eventually, after like 10 minutes of this dog thing, I was like,
Yeah.
why is this happening? They're not even in front of people. And then it zooms out, and there's like people with cameras and like an audience.
Yeah.
Why is nobody else making any noise while this is going on?
Yeah. Well,
You
they're
don't
very
make
shocked.
noise while the cameras are live. That's just common knowledge.
Yeah, no.
It's a dog. Call him by name. Oh, it's not your dog, though.
This is
Everything
my dog.
sucks.
Yeah, you'd think somebody would have gasped or something at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they kill him, and he's exposed to be an alien, and they're like, "Ha! This is what you aliens actually look like." And it's like, yeah, they probably didn't actually look like humans. Like they're
It kind of would have been
aliens.
weird.
Yeah.
And then the leader of the aliens tries to talk his way out, but his second in command shoots him and takes over as the main villain for the rest of the film.
Yeah, I think the old leader was going to explain his weird subtle plan or whatever with the Gorath, and then
Yeah,
the
he did start to.
yeah. And then this younger guy's like, this is so fucking stupid. I'm just going to shoot you. And guess what? It's just war now. We're just going to kill all of you. Actually, we're not going to kill all of you. We are going to make you cattle. He calls them cattle, like, nonstop. He really likes that word.
To be fair, that's a terrifying threat to throw at another species.
Yes.
He did also specify they were going to be their food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
they're-
they need the mitochondria.
Yes.
Yep, that's the reason.
They don't say the mitochondria thing until a lot later in the movie. So it's very weird. It's like, is this the best way for you to get food? Is this how you would harvest people? And then, of course, they explain later that there's something about humans that they need to eat us or whatever. And then it's like, okay, it's fucking go time. War has begun. All of the monsters are released, attacking all of the cities again. And all of the mutants that are part of the Earth Defense Force are like, oh, we're going to get you, aliens. And then turns out the aliens can't control all of the mutants. Oh, no. And there's
Except
like,
for Ozaki.
yeah, well, because he's the main character.
Yeah, one of the mutants calls an auxilian X-Man. Which,
Yes,
that
Cosima
seems
does
a
say,
little funny.
watch it, X-Man.
Yeah.
It's a little on the nose.
And then we go to exactly what I go to a Godzilla movie for, a car chase.
Yeah.
All right, but the
they-
motorcycle chase is kind of badass, though.
Yes, they bust, our heroes bust out. One of the leader of the EDF sacrifices himself to save the day. Blah blah blah, whatever. And then you get a fucking motorcycle chase, and it's kind of cool, but it's also, as you mentioned, completely out of left field for a Godzilla movie.
It's not just a chase; it's a motorcycle fight. These two
Yeah, this is
guys are
true.
dueling on top of motorcycles.
Yes, it's a real chopper duel.
It is so stupid, and I love it. I love it so much.
Oh,
It
it
does-
was fun.
It does feel like it dropped out of another movie, namely The Matrix, but it's pretty cool. And our hero actually beats him this time. And then that wakes him up from alien control or something. They never really
Yep.
explained that. But
Yeah,
it
pretty
does.
much.
Yeah.
Well, that's
You just
usually how
needed
that
that.
works.
Yeah, that
You
is
know,
how that works.
they get mind controlled, you beat them up,
Yeah.
and then they come to.
So then we're in their secret underground hangar with all of the survivors. And they're like, okay, we got to make a plan. Oh, I guess before that, we see the EDF just get its ass kicked all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
And robot chicken
It
attacks.
is a slaughter.
Yeah, we see all of the other ships get destroyed, except the Gotengo, which isn't in the fight. All hope seems lost.
As I understand, they basically wiped out humanity.
Yeah, more or less.
It's a bit of a bummer, I guess.
They're pretty much on the road to, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little unclear how much of humanity they've killed. The cities are not in good shape. I'll say
No.
that much. But of course, this leads us to the thing that we were all waiting for.
Godzilla
Fra-
to appear in the movie.
Exactly. Like, okay, the only way that we can stop all these monsters is we have to release Godzilla. And they're sort of calling on him, like, wait, this seems like a terrible plan, because if we let him go, like, I still don't think we'll be able to beat the aliens. I still don't think we'll be able to stop Godzilla, because we don't have any weapons. So even if Godzilla does beat the aliens, or the monsters, and we beat the aliens, then we probably can't stop Godzilla, because we don't have any weapons.
And the best part is that is all explained on camera by a character. So wait, your plan is to go down to the South Pole and release Godzilla, and then lead him back here, and then he'll fight the aliens and all of the monsters, and then we'll beat the aliens, and then what? You'll take him back down to the South Pole? I'm gonna imprison him again.
Oh, right, because he's like, I did it before. And we find out that, of course,
was the
Don
guy
Fry... Yeah.
Who fired the missiles that trapped Godzilla in ice for all these years.
Yeah. So...
It's a real I contributed to moment.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like the captain was really the one in charge. And the guy who presses the button to launch the torpedo, I don't know how much you were involved. I guess maybe, like, loaded it, but...
Well, it was more of a pulling down a lever, was it not?
I guess we
Yeah.
get to see it. Yeah, it's more pulling down a lever. Okay.
And he yelled really dramatically while he was doing it, so he does get points for that.
Yeah,
And
that
he
is
probably wasn't photoshopped into that scene.
true. Yeah. All right. And then, fucking, we do it. They go to the South Pole to go get Godzilla. We meet the two people that have been guarding Godzilla this whole time, who
They
are
are
two
the best.
other MMA fighters.
They
Who
are?
also, yeah, these guys are two other MMA fighters.
Oh my god.
Yes. Oh gosh, I have their names.
One of
written
them
down.
even mentions we're not alone out there anymore. So I think they sort of understate how wiped out humanity is at this point.
Yeah, they're sort of like, yeah, we're just gonna sort of chill here while the Earth ends. But then one of them does a spit take when they're like, hey, they're gonna come to release Godzilla, and they go down, and they do release Godzilla, and Godzilla finally busts out, and it's fucking Godzilla time, baby.
And now
Only
the
an
movie picks
hour
the fuck
into the
up.
movie.
But
And
then, the movie picks the fuck up a bit.
yeah, Godzilla immediately kills the two guys that were monitoring his prison. Immediately
I felt
kills
bad
them.
about them. They didn't.
They were the
deserve that
two
shit.
people. They were the two people on Earth at the time that deserved to die the least.
I don't know what you're
Pretty
talking.
much.
They had
Not in
kept him
Godzilla's eyes, though.
they'd kept him in prison for like decades.
They were
They
just
were-
sitting
They
there
were
doing
the
a
maintenance
job.
guys.
It was a posting.
It's not like they were torturing him or anything like that. They were just like, okay, we just sit here and keep watch on this and say hi when people contact us.
Every 3 months, someone calls in, hey, Godzilla's still asleep? Yep. And they go back to playing ping pong.
Well, regardless, Godzilla is now on the loose, and the Exilian commanders are going to be like, okay, I guess we got to send some monsters after him. So he gives an incredible yell. Both the dub actor and the original actor give an incredible yell of, Gigan! and then he yells "Rise" in English. It's so silly. He's just devouring the scenery here.
And
Oh, I thought that was sort of a weird read. It's Gigan! Rise.
Yeah,
and I think this movie's design of Gigan is great.
it's
I think
really
Gigan
cool.
looks so cool.
And he can shoot lasers out of his eyes now, which is really neat.
Yeah.
I thought the chain torso was pretty neat.
Yeah, they're really going for it. I mean, he always had the chain torso, but he's really fucking going for it.
They
So
gave him, like,
we're now
Scorpion get over here claws.
Yeah. So this is it. we've got our big monster fight. Okay, let's sit down. Let's have a big, long monster fight between Gigan and Godzilla. Nope.
30 seconds. If that.
Godzilla's just like, yeah, fuck you. Breathes atomic breath, blows him up immediately.
It's somewhere in there was the Zilla fight, which the wiki tells me is the shortest monster fight in all of Godzilla
Well, that's
history.
next. That's next.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So he kills Gigan. You're thinking about how Gigan comes back later inexplicably. That's a second Gigan fight.
Somehow Gigan returned.
Yes.
Well, he's
So
cyborg.
So
Probably
for the
nanobots
rest,
or something.
yeah, for the rest of the movie, Godzilla's stomping around like he's in New Game Plus or something, and he's just. First, he goes to Sydney and just immediately kills Zilla, like even faster. He breathes once, Zilla dodges it. It's like, oh, this might be a fight. No, hits him with his tail, smashes him into the Sydney Opera House, and just destroys him while Sum 41 is playing.
Oh yeah, great song.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that scene was chef's kiss, perfect.
Yes.
I feel like the reason they used that song is because the word supersize is in there.
Yes. It's not because it says we're all to blame as they're showing the terrible Godzilla.
No, definitely not.
Okay. Also, it just rules.
It does.
And yeah, from this point on, we just see Godzilla take down a murderer's row. Let's go through this really quick. Fights the spider, Kamanga, almost
That
immediately.
into space.
Yeah. Kamanga now can explicitly shoot a web that turns into a net. Doesn't matter. Godzilla grabs him, swings him around, throws him away. Done. Keeps going.
Takes on Kamacuras. Just breathes fire at him, knocks him into a fucking power pole, and impales the fucker. Done. Next.
That was cool.
Kamacuras also can cloak now, which is pretty
that's
wild.
That's
Yeah,
new.
that's completely new. Doesn't trick Godzilla, though.
Yeah, it's like Godzilla just figures, hey, you know what? Doesn't matter if he's hiding if I just destroy every available hiding spot.
Yes.
And he's right.
He is absolutely correct.
Like, it worked.
Then he takes on 3 guys at once. Some of his old homies from the other movies, Anguirus, whatever, King Caesar, and Rodan. And they actually give him a moment. Like, this fight actually takes almost a little bit longer than the other ones, because we see, like, the 3 of them there for a moment. It's like, oh, man, is this going to be it? Is this going to be... No, of course not. What does he do?
Just wrecks him, plays soccer with Anguirus, knocks Rodan out of the sky. But he doesn't kill any of them. These are the only kaiju in the film that he doesn't kill, which maybe he recognizes them as, old friends, old drinking buddies.
Maybe. I also read, and, apocryphal stories or whatever, they didn't want to destroy the suits by exploding them, because they wanted to use them for promotional materials.
That's
that
fair.
makes sense.
That could have been it, too. But it could be both things. Things could be more than one thing.
Yeah. I like to imagine it's because he recognized old friends.
Yeah.
Not that this movie could take place anywhere in any timeline.
Yeah, this doesn't work in any of the continuities, but it doesn't matter. Then he finally... Oh, and every single time, the Exilian Commander alien is just losing his mind. He's getting so frustrated every time Godzilla just immediately dunks on these guys.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you?
I mean, yeah, good point.
I mean, I like to see Godzilla at the top of his field.
Yes.
And he really is in this one.
Oh yeah.
Now Godzilla's finally make it to Tokyo, and we see what comes out of the water. We think it's going to be Godzilla. No, it's Ebirah, who's being blasted away by Godzilla.
No, first it's Hedorah.
Excuse me, not Ebirah, Hedorah. Sorry,
Yeah,
I got
who
that
gets
wrong.
slammed into a building, and then it's Ebirah who impales Hedorah, which and then Godzilla blasts them both, and apparently that's enough to kill them, even though Hedorah was really fucking hard to kill in his first appearance. But like, at this point, Godzilla's so strong that
He I got it. He was also working out in prison.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
He's got a lot of pent up atomic fire breath.
Yes.
he was
It's
he
like-
was doing the One Punch Man workout routine while he was trapped in the ice.
I was thinking of more the workout from... Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Every day, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, never changing the temperature until he's the buffest kaiju alive.
Yeah, I was thinking of the workout in RRR, if you've seen that, where he's working out in prison and just becoming the buffest dude ever.
I
I
have
have,
not.
but
Everyone
the
says I
workout
should.
did not leave much of an impression in my mind.
Okay, well, he's like, it's whatever. I won't get it sidetracked on it. All right, and now Godzilla can finally take on the mothership, but he seems to be uninterested in destroying the mothership. I don't know why. It seems like Godzilla would maybe attack the mothership, but instead the Gotengo has to attack the mothership, and it can't. It sucks. Its shields are too strong. Yeah.
It's got a, in the immortal words of Captain Gordon, damn it, it's got a barrier shield.
A barrier shield.
God, there's such amazing dialogue in this movie.
Yes.
So good. It's so
Okay.
terrible.
But then Kazama, the rival, the bad guy who was brainwashed and is now not brainwashed.
Independence Day himself.
Yeah,
Yep.
This could not be more Independence Day. The ships flying
touch of
everywhere
Star
looks like
Wars.
Independence Day.
With a touch of Episode 6.
Yeah, you're right. The thing that he blows up on the inside looks like the inside of the Death Star.
It does. It really does.
And it is a sphere.
Yes.
And he does blow it up by just slamming a plane right into it while the hypest music plays.
It's pretty cool.
And by 2004...
Yes.
Fuck! Jesus Christ! Oh my god!
I mean, they're
I'm
destroying
sorry,
a lot
we
of
can
buildings.
cut that out.
No, it's fine.
We're keeping that one. We are absolutely keeping that.
And then it's like, okay, well now the Gotengo could get in, and then the aliens immediately just teleport into the Gotengo and kill everybody.
Except for our
Except for
protagonists.
the main cast.
Well, yeah, we're not going to kill the main cast. He says
They've
he has
got plot armor.
He says, I have plans for you. And he does. He seems like he maybe has plans for the one guy, like our lead mutant. But the rest of them, he seems like he probably should have just killed.
He
Well,
has plans for them, and mostly it's the one guy, but the plan is still forming, so
Yes.
gotta figure it out as he goes.
He's
Maybe
not really
he
good
has-
at plans.
Maybe he has dinner plans for the rest of them.
That's fair.
Like Darth Vader.
Okay, I think, now that I think about it, probably the plan was... Because, like, he immediately awakens Ozaki as the One. He is apparently a Kaiser, a mix of human and alien DNA that has a 1 in a billion chance of being the strongest being in existence. And apparently the main villain is also a Kaiser, so does that mean he's part human? That's not important right now.
Yes.
But he
I
awakens
think that's
Ozaki's...
mainly an M-based thing.
Yeah. He awakens
Well-
Ozaki's Kaiser powers, and that temporarily brainwashes him. So maybe the plan was like, okay, I'm going to test the limits of my brainwashing by keeping his friends alive so that I can get him to kill his friends.
Well,
Which,
and
that's
like
the best I can
admittedly,
do.
he does try to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was explained why Ozaki couldn't be brainwashed to begin with, even though he is a mutant, is because he's this Kaiser who hasn't awakened yet.
Yeah.
Basically, and, like-
they should have just called him the One. Like, we should have just...
Really?
Although,
he's
since
just-
Controller X is also a Kaiser, it would have to be the 2.
Well, no, but he's Agent Smith, so, like, whatever.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, Agent Smith is kind of the one of the machine army.
Yeah.
That's
Fair.
true.
That
And
does
then-
track.
All hope seems lost. Also Godzilla. I guess we should mention Godzilla is also having some trouble because they've called down another monster from space who sort of floats down like an anime villain.
After Godzilla
and-
blows him out of a meteor, so I guess Gorath was real a little bit?
Yeah,
Whatever.
I guess Gorath was real. Godzilla just like face tanks this meteor and is unscathed by it.
But apparently the meteor contained Monster X, the
Yes.
final boss of the film.
Yes.
All right, I get a little sketchy towards the end of the film.
Yeah. Well, there's not much to it. Yeah.
And
There's
Monster
too
X
much
is
to
the
it.
Yeah, I guess
Only-
that's also true.
Monster X is the only original monster in the film, and I think he looks pretty cool.
He does look pretty cool. I will
Yeah.
give it that. He's a good design. And then the fact that he, you could sort of see, because he's going to transform later on, you could sort of see signs of what he's going to transform into, too, which is pretty neat.
A little bit of visual foreshadowing. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. But Monster X is the first monster who is not immediately destroyed by Godzilla.
Good job, Godzilla.
Yeah. So then Mothra comes in. So Controller X sends a new Gigan after her, and they have a backup final battle while Godzilla's having his main final battle. Well, there's a third backup final battle between Ozaki and Controller X. Yeah, it's a lot, but I think it's cool.
Yeah, what you saying? It was kind of cool? Yeah.
Yeah, the Mothra battle was kind of cool. The way it ended, I was sort of confused, because Mothra's on fire diving through Gigan. I'm like, wait, is this what Mothra planned all along, or is Mothra just on fire and dead?
Yeah.
Well, Gigan exploded her, but she survived long enough to explode him back. Mothra's never made it to the end of a movie.
I think Mothra dies at the end of that fight. Nobody says anything about it, though.
Nope.
I mean, does Mothra come back after this film, or is Mothra okay?
Since this is in its own continuity, presumably she is dead. We never see any evidence of her having children the way other continuities have it, so Mothra sacrificed herself to take Gigan out of the fight.
What about adopted children?
I can't confirm or deny.
Over the credits, we see Mothra flying around Infant Island, but we also see Hedorah and stuff, so who knows
maybe that
if
was
that's...
just cut footage.
Yeah, who knows?
She was originally going to survive, but that was cut. What? That's such a weird thing to cut. Whatever.
Yeah, or at least...
maybe everybody's okay, and it was just for pretensies.
I will say two things about the Mothra Gigan fight. One, Gigan shoots razor blades at Mothra, misses, and then the razor blades cut his own head off. Which is pretty great.
I assumed that was because they went through her, projectile reflecting powder, because that's typically what her scales do, but it's so weirdly edited, and also he does shoot the blades out of his nipples. I do have to point that out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I do 40K, so it's nothing new for me.
Yeah. And the other thing I'm going to say is this. Look, Mothra is theoretically sort of the protector of the Earth, has fought Gigan before, saved the Earth from these aliens. Where the fuck was Mothra while everything else was going on? Why is now when Mothra is showing up? Now, I know
just napping. Super big nap.
Yeah.
The Shobijin only, prayed, maybe this was a bad idea to leave it all to Godzilla. Maybe we should wake up the boss and have her help.
This might have been a bad idea to leave to Godzilla, especially since Godzilla was imprisoned in ice.
Yes.
Yeah, hindsight.
Yeah.
Hindsight. Anyway.
But, so we have the fight between Godzilla and Monster X, and on the ship, all seems lost. It seems like our Kaiser is now joined up with the aliens, except for, it's like a dagger thing that the Shobijin gave him earlier.
Yeah.
The ancient amulet.
Yeah.
Miyuki stabs that into Ozaki's back, and that magics the mind control out of him. And
he
Saved
says
by the stab.
And he says the line that they repeat several times throughout the movie as if it's important, but doesn't really seem like it's that important. You choose what to do with your powers, whether it's good or evil. It's your choice, or something to that effect.
Well, it's his mantra. It's his new mantra. So
Yeah.
it draws out his true potential to be a good guy, I guess.
Yes.
Well, a less bad guy. We'll see what he does once humanity's back to full power.
Yes.
Being that he's a god now.
Yes. And so he has a crazy fight with the Exilian controller, and it's a bunch of Matrix shit. That's okay, but also goes on for a while. I will say the thing I like least about this, I don't like the set of the alien ship. It's pretty ugly and pretty boring looking.
It's like the 2010 TARDIS if they took all the interesting stuff out.
it looks like the inside of an Art Deco lamp. In the most boring way possible.
Yes. All right.
So while he's fighting Controller X, all the other humans escape, and we discover that the humans who have been replaced by aliens, the GDF commander, the Secretary General, the other GDF commander, who we haven't mentioned because he's not important.
Yeah.
They're also alive and have escaped somehow. Literally, they don't give an explanation. They just said, we escaped somehow.
Yeah.
And apparently the Secretary General can use a gun.
What's the line he says? They called me Hotshot or whatever?
They used to call me Mr. One Shot, which
I don't think that means what he
as
thinks it means.
it does.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
In Japanese, they said something different. Let's call him Mr. Something Shot. It is a reference. That is another reference. That's why that line is in there. Because he played a secret agent character that was called like Mr. One Shot or something like that.
Okay.
So
I'll
it's
take your
not,
word for it.
Yeah, it would be like if Sean Connery showed up in a movie playing a completely different character, and then they call me James
They call
Bond.
me Sean. James Sean.
Oh yeah, that would actually be how they would describe. Yeah. And there's an interminable laser gun fight between all of the humans and the Exilians. Gordon gets into a fight with two of the Exilians in a hand-to-hand fight.
Which he initiates because they point a gun at him, and he has a katana. He has a katana in this movie. And he just takes the katana, plants it in the wall, and raises his fists. And the Exilians just look at her like, yeah, okay. And they toss the gun aside and decide, sure.
I remembered there was a katana planted in the wall, but I forgot the context of it.
It was that, yes. He puts it in the wall. He doesn't really use that katana much. He mostly just has it, waves it around to look cool.
Like, the female alien who stole it uses it more than he does.
Yeah. Then after he's at the end of the fight, he's about to hit one of the Exilians, and she's like, "You wouldn't hit a girl, would you?" And then he's like, "Yeah," and he karate chops her in the neck. Big battles going on, whatever. Our heroes escape. Godzilla shoots his atomic breath at the spaceship at one point, which messes it up. We're melding all this stuff together, but
the way it does in my memory.
Yep.
Yeah. Our heroes escape.
And once everything is seemingly done, it is
Manila.
revealed that, well, first
Before
Monster
Manila.
X has to go to his final form, which
Yes.
is Ghidorah, or a new version of Ghidorah called Kaiser Ghidorah, and he's dope. It's actually really good design for Ghidorah.
Yeah. And Kaiser Ghidorah beats Godzilla, just like beats him, grabs him by the,
Like everything before this, I sort of regret that I wasn't able to complete a rewatch, but I remember this being kind of cool.
Yes.
It's also the first time Ghidorah's gravity beams actually have gravity powers. They call them gravity beams, but they've just been lightning until this movie, where he actually uses them to levitate Godzilla and toss him through a building.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the layman does not understand what gravity is.
Yes.
I guess not.
And all hope seems lost. Godzilla, we've blown up the alien mothership, but now fucking Kaiser Ghidorah is going to kill Godzilla, and then Kaiser Ghidorah is just going to destroy the Earth. What are we going to do? Godzilla needs our help. How are we going to help Godzilla? He's losing all of his energy.
I don't know, I forget. Explain.
Ozaki somehow uses his Kaiser powers to fire a wave of, like, healing energy at Godzilla through the Gotengo's maser cannon.
Seems legit.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool as he's, like, going through, like, it's very cool / ridiculous as he's, like, he's pressing, like, some buttons to make it happen, and then just an infinity symbol appears on the computer screen. And then a laser shoots out, he gives his Kaiser energy to Godzilla, which is enough to make Godzilla be like, okay, fuck you, Ghidorah, and he just kills Ghidorah.
So maybe it's not official in the movie, but that becomes Kaiser Godzilla.
Yes.
I suppose so.
Technically.
I never thought of it like that.
It is pretty good. He takes off Ghidorah's heads like one at a time, and then it's like smacking him around for a while, and then finally blasts him into space.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's done Hydras right since the ancient Greeks.
And now we've got the big problem, because we keep having big problems. Everyone's dead except Godzilla, and Godzilla's fucking pissed off.
He immediately grounds the Gotengo, didn't even hesitate.
Yeah, after the Gotengo saved him, he's immediately like, That was stupid of you, asshole. It just immediately destroys it.
Well, to be fair, the Gotengo was the reason he was trapped under ice.
This is true, yes.
Probably got really bored under there.
No doubt.
He was working out.
Playing ping pong.
And then we have everybody, like, on the ground, like, looking up at Godzilla, and, like, Don Fry, like, draws his katana like he's gonna go hit Godzilla, and, like, they're getting their guns, and they're, like, pointing him up at him. It's like, what the fuck do you think is gonna happen here?
He's just thinking back to those assholes with riot shields.
Yeah, right?
It's not about winning. It's about sending a message. Will Godzilla receive that message? Probably not, but you can't say we didn't send it.
Well, Godzilla gets another message, though. Because
Yes.
out of nowhere, we see the hunter guy, the kid, and Manila pull up in their truck into
Who at
this
this point
fucking...
has grown to giant size. That
He
started
hasn't
happening
grown
at
to
some
giant...
point.
He's getting bigger, but he actually grows to giant size in just a second. And...
What happened to make him grow? It was like seeing Godzilla and trying to emulate them.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just because he did it in the other movie. He was able to get big, so he's able to do it in this one. Fuck it, don't worry about it.
Fair enough.
And we do a little thing where they're talking about. We saw a couple of the scenes earlier. The little boy was asking his dad, like, "Why is Godzilla so mad at all of us?"
Because we suck.
His dad's like, "Because we used nukes once, and Godzilla still hasn't forgiven us for that." It seems like, why would you be attacking Japan if you're mad about nukes? Like, if there's one place to attack...
Wait. Didn't nukes make Godzilla from an iguana?
Depends on which continuity you're going with.
Gotcha.
The iguana is only the TriStar American one.
Yeah, I was about to say, that one was the Zilla one.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Although I feel like in the earlier films there was some indication that nukes did make Godzilla.
Yes.
They woke him up, at least.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought it was they woke him up.
Well, remember in the Heisei ones, he was a Godzillasaurus, which was a separate dinosaur that had just been living forever on an island.
Yeah, it's been a while.
You went, yeah. I don't know if you were with us on that episode, but yeah, remember that was the one with the time travel that didn't make any goddamn sense.
We don't have time to get into that again. Oh my god.
Yes. But anyway, the Minya runs forward and he's like, because he can't talk because he's a fucking kaiju. And he like puts his arms up to be like, no, don't kill them, Godzilla. We need to be friends now. And the same kid does the same to stop the humans from doing it. Please don't shoot Godzilla. We have to be friends now. And then this is when Manila gets super big for some reason.
I mean, to be fair, he's communicating about as well as my toddler does in that instance.
I'm maybe not tracking when Manila gets big, but regardless, he gets really big. We couldn't have been that big before because he'd been in the truck. Now he has to get bigger, so... Yeah.
He wasn't in the truck when he got to that scene. Like, at some point, he started getting bigger, and we just don't cut back to the hunter and his kid until they show up following Manila in the final scene.
I guess you're right.
And maybe not in the truck.
Yeah. No, they're in the truck. It's just Manila's
They were
not
in the truck. He wasn't.
Yeah.
There you go.
Regardless, Manila's like, don't kill them. And for some reason, Godzilla's like, okay, fine. And then Godzilla just walks away.
Yeah, Godzilla and Manila walk off into the sunset, walk into the ocean, and the humans are like, well, I guess we gotta rebuild the entirety of human civilization now.
Submarine Stalin's just real happy nobody called him on not getting Godzilla trapped in ice.
And they're like, I guess it's over. And then our hero man is like, no, it's just the beginning.
No,
And
but like
Godzilla
for realsies though, I think like pretty much everything is over. We've got 8 of us left.
There's probably other humans around somewhere, right?
See, and...
Yeah, on the mainland.
Also, here's the thing, too. We established, it was established early in the movie that nothing happened in Canada. Canada was safe this whole time. There's just people in Canada watching what's going on the news going, well, I'm glad it's not us.
Not Mechagodzilla attacked Canada. We just didn't see that.
Clearly.
Canada, safe from kaiju because nobody can name 3 cities from here.
Exactly.
All right.
God, I'm
and then the
part
last
Canadian
thing
and
we
I can't name
see,
3 cities.
the last thing we see is Godzilla roaring. And that is the last time Godzilla was maybe will ever be played by a suit actor.
And that was the end of the series for a solid 10 years.
And then they play the terrible documentary sounding music again.
I can't hate the documentary sounding music.
Well, it was the end for 10 years. What's our next movie?
That would be Godzilla 2014. 2016? 2014.
The first of the American MonsterVerse films by Legendary.
Oh. I wasn't even sure if those counted.
Made to celebrate 60 years, because we didn't mention it, but this was the 50-year anniversary of the big guy, which is why this movie's such a celebration.
Yeah.
I actually know somebody who was in the first MonsterVerse Godzilla as an extra, because they did some of the filming for that out in BC.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, he was one of the soldiers on the train, I think.
Nice.
They do some pretty interesting stuff in BC.
All right, so now it's time for us to rate this movie. Okay? So, how, on a scale of 1 to 5, what do you think of this one? I'll go first. Fucking, this movie rules. I love this movie. It's got a million problems, and I overlook every single one. It's just there's a new idea every fucking 10 seconds, and so many monsters everywhere. Godzilla stomping on all of them. Motorcycle fights. I love it. I give it 5 motorcycle fights out of 5.
I'll go next. I also really like this movie. Right from the beginning, I knew it was one of those like really fun romps. I can't give it a perfect score because there was.
Oh wow, that's a first from you.
Yeah, I know, right? They didn't like. I think they cut some stuff that could have been left in, and it would have improved the movie. I get that it was a long run time as it was, so I'm gonna have to give it 4 cups of coffee out of 5.
I'm with Dan. I love this movie. It is so stupid and so bright and so proud of what it is, and it's sincere. God fucking damn it, this is a sincere movie. Like, they never smile and wink at the camera like, yeah, we know this is ridiculous. They commit to the fucking bit every step of the way. And it is the most fun you can have watching a Godzilla film. Absolutely. Like, I give this thing 5 Pillsbury Doughboy Godzilla children out of 5, man. I love this thing.
All right, and as always, I give this a 5 out of 5. After that hit to the head, I do not remember the numbers before 5. Its problems are glaring. It's a real weird movie, but 5 out of 5 from me.
Okay, we got to teach you those other numbers. It's okay. You're allowed to not like it, but
they've tried. It just doesn't take.
Well, this has been our April 1st episode of Daniel's Daikaiju Tales. Wrapping up the last chapter of the Godzilla saga for now.
Oh, Dan, it's Daniel's Daikaiju Theater. You're getting confused with that last podcast.
Oh yeah, no, that one was stupid. No, this
Come
is
on, man. 29 episodes in and you're still getting it wrong.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. All right. Thanks so much for listening. Tune in next week for us to discuss a little bit of the MonsterVerse and a real chunky Godzilla. Thanks, everybody.
Go back.
Thank you for listening to Daniel's Daikaiju Theater. You can find us on Twitter at Dan's Red Tails, all one word, for as long as Twitter continues to be a useful platform. We have new episodes every other Friday and fun bonus stuff like this on the occasional off week. Please tell your friends and review us on your podcast platform of choice. I might read some of the reviews on the show in the coming weeks. It truly does help us out, so give us a review. Thanks again. Have a kaiju-tastic. Oh, God. Should I come up with some goodbye thing? No, we don't need a goodbye thing. It's fine.
Oh, I wrote out a catch line here.
Oh, do it. Okay.
Get your thriller from the Zilla.
Happy April Fools, y'all.